Good morning and happy Tuesday, y'all. I am Tara Hewlett and I am coming live with Back Pain and Joint Center of Texas. I come on every week over the summers. I could do Tuesdays around 9 a.m. roughly and share with you guys a recipe, a meal that we do here in our home. And that is low inflammation. And why low inflammation? Low inflammation diet consists of no glutens, dairy, or sugar. So these are things that we incorporated in our family a little over a year ago. Good morning, Lee. How are you? And a low inflammation diet is good for you since it helps keep your body from being inflamed. So therefore, you can heal and recover faster. So today we're gonna make nachos. I don't think I have shared with you guys our nachos, and I think this is great for summertime because it's quick and easy, and as the sun is up longer, if you're like me, you kind of like get caught away and you're like, oh, it's 7 o'clock because the sun's still out and you think it's like 4, and you need something for dinner. So nachos it is because it's quick and fast. All right, I'm gonna turn it on the oven, so you're gonna start with the oven. I do it at 375 because I like it to be a little crisp on the chips. So let me get that on. All right, so we got our oven on 375, and we'll go ahead and get started. So we're gonna start with our meat. Now, the good thing about nachos is it's whatever you like. So we typically do ground beef on ours. Now, sometimes when I have more time, because ground beef is easy, I can thaw it fast. If I have more time, I could do fajita meat, or you can do chicken. Or if you have, like if you're in a hurry and you were out and about, you can grab a rotisserie chicken and throw that on. So that's what I like about nachos is there's several different things you can put on top of it, depending on your time and your preference of the meat you would like. So we're gonna start with the meat. Let me throw this one because I opened it. All right, so this is the beef we use, and it is grass-fed and finished. And this is just from HEB. Most stores have one that's, if not finished, just go with your grass-fed. As much as your budget can go with, try to do that. A cleaner meat as possible. All right, I'm doing 2 pounds because we're a family of 6 and I have teenagers in the house and they gobble up nachos. So if you have a bigger family or you're feeding a handful of people, go with 2 pounds. If not, you can just do 1 pound, you'll be good. All right, let's turn that over like medium high, more than medium. And we're just gonna break up our ground beef a little bit before we add anything else in there. Okay, got our ground beef a little bit broken up. All right, let's go ahead and cut half of our onion. So I always start with the edges. I cut the 2 edges off and then slice it down the middle. Let's take that first layer of the peel off. All right, so we're just gonna go ahead and slice our onion, the first half, and then chop it up. I kind of slice it and then I stack them like this. Other than they're falling apart, they usually don't do that. Okay. All right, let's get those nice and fine because we're gonna throw these in with our ground beef. So we are gonna do sheet pan nachos today. So this is what I like to do because it's quickest and fastest. And then of course, it's kind of like everybody wants the nucleus of the nacho, right? Right in the middle. Who's gonna get the best one? like I said, since we do not do dairy, so you're probably like, how are you having nachos? We just omit the cheese on there, and we don't miss it. So give it a shot. I know some people are like, oh, but we love cheese. Just try it and see how you do give it a week or so without some cheese. And like we shared with our pizza recipe before with y'all, and now our nachos. So, all right. My kids are gonna be so excited because this is what's for their dinner. If not, it'll be their lunch because they get excited. They start eating it early. All right, we're gonna throw this in here with our meat. Kind of mix that in. All mixed in there. All right, so let's go ahead and add our seasonings to this. Let me get a spoon so I can tell you exactly how much. All right, so, okay, let's start with some cumin here. This is like my favorite seasoning, just good old cumin. I get in all my Mexican meat dishes, I will definitely use cumin. So, let's do like a good teaspoon of that. And then next would be our oregano. Can you see that? And we're gonna do the same thing. A teaspoon of that. And then we'll do our taco seasoning. And let's see what we're gonna do with this one. Okay, that's a teaspoon and a half of the taco seasoning we're gonna start with. We'll see if we need to add more. Let's go ahead and do some more taco. That was a teaspoon and a half, so let's do 2.5 teaspoons of taco seasoning. So if you can get your taco seasoning, get it and the spice aisle over the little packages, because those packages have so many additives in them. And or just make your own with just, I mean, even just cumin and garlic, onion, and oregano is good, and some salt and pepper. So just salt and pepper to taste. All right. Well, that started. Now we'll get on to the next thing. Our meat's cooking. We use beans, obviously. But I have shared with you guys before our homemade beans, refried beans. I typically only make those a few times a year for my son because he loves them. So if you have time, but like I said, I typically think nachos when it's 7 o'clock and I'm like, oh, we need dinner. So just good old canned beans and whatever. I just usually buy whichever one is one of the cheapest ones. So this is just our local grocery store brand of refried beans. Some of them different flavors, so depending on the flavor you like, but we're good with this. This is our H-E-B brand. I think this is H-E-B. Maybe it's Kroger's. All right, I'm gonna do 2 of these. Now you can get, because they have the big, huge cans of refried beans, you can do one of those if you want. This just gives me a little bit more, since 2 little ones is a little bit more than the big one. I think that's like 28 ounces, while this is probably like a little over 30 ounces of beans. So we're gonna do 2 cans of the 16 ounces. So how's your day, Mr. Lee? You enjoying the, oh my goodness, we went to the store yesterday in the heat. Like, we had the rain forever that it was so cool. and then that full-on heat came. Oh my goodness, that was very warm. My kids were ready for some popsicles to cool down yesterday. All right, get the beans out of those. All right, and I add just a little bit of water to mine. Yeah. I'm talking like a teaspoon or so of water in there. Just so, cause sometimes they're too thick. So, I mean, when you take them out of the can, they're like thick like this, right? I know, right, brutal. But I do love the sun shining. Okay, so we're gonna, when we add a little water to it, they get a little bit thinner, not as thick. So it's easier kind of to spread on top of all your chips. All right, so let's show on this burner here. And this one always acts up on me and just does the click, 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 click. So I always have to start it. I don't know what it is. If it's off or something. Okay, so then I also like to put some black beans on top of mine. I kind of like the different beans in mine. Let me get a drainer. So if you don't like black beans, you can go ahead and do you could just do the refi, or you can use some pinto beans as well, but I like the black beans. All right, so I'm gonna drain these over the sink. Now, it's good to give your beans a little rinse, because the water juice that comes in them kind of like bubbly. So I just rinse it until it starts bubbling and kind of clean those beans out, and then I'll throw them in the pot. All right, so then we'll just toss these from I was just rinsing them really quick. And then we'll add just a little bit of water so there's no juice in here. And so I just add a little bit to fill it back up. So the beans they sit in some water instead of getting cooked. We don't want to cook them down. All right, let's check on our meat and give it a turn. About some cilantro. We can go ahead and add a little bit of cilantro if you happen to have some. You can throw that in on your meat too. Let me grab that for you. Sorry, I forgot where I put it in the fridge. Okay, so we're gonna just take a little bit because we want to save this for something else. So just cut off a handful of cilantro. And we're just gonna cut that up finely, chop it up. That will give our meat some more flavor. If you don't have any, it's no big deal. But fresh cilantro is always good. All right, get our meat cooking. Our beans are going. I need another spoon for the other beans over here. So you could do 2 cans of black. I only do 1. My children don't love the black beans so much as just refried beans, so I just do 1. But you can do 2 depending on your preference of that. Let's put the lids back on our things. Okay, so for chips, while our meat is cooking, we're waiting on that. I had my refried beans on high. Don't put those on high. Keep those on medium. They're sizzling. Okay, so for our chips, I have shared with you guys before what we use. This is our favorite brand, and it's super clean and yummy. I know it's hard to find a clean, sometimes hard to find clean and good, but this is it. It's the Siete brand of grain-free tortilla chips. Our favorite is just the sea salt. They also have like a lime one. That one is good, but this is just our favorite. And what's good about these is just Casanova flour, avocado oil, coconut flour, chia seed, and sea salt. So it's what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ingredients. So, I mean, in everything that you can pronounce and you know what it is. So that is always a super good sign and good thing. So this is our favorite brand, and they make great tortillas as well, and we use those. So I just have a big old pan here, sheet pan, and so I just take it. You can see it's well loved and aged. And we're just gonna sprinkle our chips. I'm gonna use 2 bags because we have 6 people. Now, if you go to do grocery shop at Costco, they sell these in bigger bags there. These are just the size that they sell at our local grocery store, either like H-E-B or Kroger if you're in Texas. So we're just gonna lay our chips all out. Oh, that looks so good. Okay. Gotta get our meat ready. It's taking a minute. Let's get 2 pounds in there. So keep them small. You don't want big chunks. Like some of these are still kind of big, like this one. You don't want, can you see that big old piece? You kind of want them smaller so you can just bite size. So still got to chop up a few of those big ones in there. Okay, so now we'll go ahead and start with our beans because they are ready. Let's see here. I'm gonna put this on the cutting board. Okay, so we're just gonna go ahead and scoop our beans on top all over our chips. Extra off that. And I'm just going to use the spatula. That'll be a lot easier to scoop, you know, the last bit out of the pan here. Make sure we get them all over. All right. And then I'll just take on what doesn't have any and spread a little bit. Sometimes, you know, you get a big glob in one spot. So I'm just gonna spread it. So it's good about the spatula, it helps with that. There we go. You do definitely want some spots that have more because those are always good to get the real soggy ones. Oh my gosh, that's like the favorite part, right? Are those your favorite? Oh, when they're just soaked and soggy. Oh, so good. Not soaked, just more soggy from the beans. All right, so then now our black beans are cooked. Where'd I put the colander? I'm gonna drain them back in the colander. We just kept some water in there just to help them cook and not shrivel down. Like I will let them without adding water, they'll shrivel down. And I do that like when I want to make a mashed black bean. And I'll put that like on our breakfast burritos or sometimes our tacos, but for this we didn't want that. All right, so now we'll just kind of evenly, you know, pour it all over our nachos, so then you get some black bean in each bite. Okay, so here's where we are. This is our bean layer. Oh, that looks good, right? See the steam? Oh my goodness. All right, let's check out on our meat. Oh, that looks good too. Okay, oh, and it smells so good. Okay, so now our meat's done. Show you. Look at that. So good. So the meat took like not too long to make. I know, right? Oh, I love nachos. So excited. So I'm just gonna scoop, same thing, scoop it all over our, now we could, it might be good. Let's go ahead, because this one has some juice in there from the meat. Let's go ahead and drain this so it doesn't make the chips soggy. You don't want them soggy from the grease of the meat, you just want it soggy from the beans. Okay, that'll be better now. Let's do, oh yes, there we go. Nice and meaty all over. Oh my goodness, so good. Now, if you're not a meat person or trying to limit your meat, which is good to do, you just do beans. There's plenty, there's protein in that, so that would be great. Get the meat all over. Spread that all out. Oh my goodness, look at that. So good, y'all. So yummy. Okay, so not one last thing. Where did I put it? Okay, so I like to add the rotel. My kids don't. They think it's spicy. So my kids, they have what I say is a white person tongue. I'm like, where's your Hispanic heritage? Not, it doesn't come out on them. So let's drain it so we don't want the juice on there. Just those tomatoes and the green chilies. I'm just gonna shake some of that juice out. Okay, and same thing, we'll spoon. I'm just gonna spoon it on half because they don't like it and they think it's spicy every time I do it. So I'm just gonna put a little bit on, or just on half of it. And I think it gives it more color, which is great. Okay, so there you go. See, doesn't it look more colorful with the rotel on there, the tomatoes and the chilies? Oh my goodness. Okay, so we're just gonna pop this in there. Everything's already cooked. It's just to get it to blend in the oven. All right, so we're gonna let that cook for a minute. Thought I had a pan on behind me. And while that's cooking, we're gonna make, because in our house we love guacamole. Like that is a must in our house, especially with nachos. So we're gonna take our avocados, and we're gonna cut them lengthwise. And I need a spoon, I need to grab a spoon. All right, so we're just gonna spoon out our slices. Are you a guacamole fan, Lee? That is something we love here. I think my kids make guacamole to snack on like almost daily. Not holding that. Very good, there we go. Okay, so that's one avocado in. Let's do another one. Because they're gonna want more than just one. Same thing, just slice it down and scoop it out. Oh, there we go. Get the seed out. Oh man, that's stuck in there. I like a spoon to scoop it with best, and then I mash it with my fork. But then I can use that same spoon that I scooped it out with. Really? Oh my goodness, that's so funny. So I have two of my children. I shouldn't say everybody. They're the same as you, Lee. Well, one's opposite. So my son Jax loves avocado, but doesn't love guacamole. And then my younger Gigi loves guacamole, but doesn't love avocado. I'm like, you guys are crazy. So they're just like you. That's so funny. My older two, though, and my husband, myself, love guac. All right, so we're just gonna take it. So, you know what you can do, Lee, is you don't make the guacamole. If you want, just just dice up your avocado and then just put that on top of your nachos. That would be so good. And then, yeah, you're good there. All right, we're just gonna mash it up just a little bit. Now this is where everyone's debatable. I use lemon in my guac. A lot of people use lime. I don't know. I started with lemon years ago, and that's why I like it. I'm just rolling the lemon to get the juice going. All right, so we're just gonna use, and just pour it over your hand. That way if there's seeds, they'll fall on your hands so you don't have to fish that out of your guac. Okay, that's just like a half of a lemon I just cut up and squeezed in there. All right, set those aside. Okay, now we'll cut up a tomato. And we're just gonna dice that all and add that. See how I kind of just look at it to give it a mix and see if it needs more tomatoes, if there's enough color in there. We'll slice up just one more little slice. So I'm using like, not even, maybe like 2/3 of it. All right, and now we'll do some salt. All right, so this is just how I do mine. I like it with lemon, tomato, and salt. When my husband makes the guac for our family, he's gonna make it with onion and pepper. He likes his that way, and cilantro. I just like mine simple. I do like it with all of that, but when I make, I just prefer less stuff in it. I like it real simple. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and make, while our nachos are cooking, some pico. I love pico. That's so good. I mean, it's almost like a salsa. It's not like a salsa because it's not liquidy, but you can eat it like a salsa with chips, right? And you can put it on your nachos, on your tacos, your breakfast burritos. So I'm just gonna dice up our tomato here. Okay, so while we're waiting and working on our pico here, we have, for our nachos, while we wait for these nachos, we have some exciting things this coming week, not this week, next week, at the office. So next week, on Tuesday, what is that, the 22nd at noon, so next week, I will be coming live, but it'll be not at 9, and we're gonna do noon next week. And because we're gonna do an in-person cooking class. So Lee, if you wanna come to that, and we're doing avocado toast. That is, I made it once on the show here. I'm gonna show you some different ways you can do it, and as well as have a couple other things for you guys. So come out to that. I'd love to see you guys and get to know you better and talk with y'all. So that is next Tuesday at noon, and that is at our complex, the Trans Med Center. It's in their kitchen downstairs. So come to that, call the office so you can put your name on the list to come. And we're gonna do a couple different variations of avocado toast. And I promise it'll be super yummy and fun. And then, what else? So that's on Tuesday. Thursday, we have at the office at 12 to 2. And I had to think about that. 12 to 2, an open house with all the different providers in our office. So that'll be so fun. You guys can get to know all the different, offices there. And so it's open house. There's going to be some door prizes. It'll be fun. Just everybody can help one another there. It'll be great to see who else is there. So hopefully you guys can come to those or come to one or the other. It'd be great to see you guys. So Tuesday, I know it's a busy week. It'll be fun. So Tuesday we have the in-person show at noon, and Thursday we have the open house with everybody at the office at the Transmed building at 12 to 2. So come check that out. All right, so I just diced up one whole tomato and a half that I had. And then that onion that we used earlier for the nachos, we only used half of it. I'm gonna use that onion, tear off the yucky part. And we're just gonna dice this. Okay, let's see here. Okay, so if you just started watching, we are making nachos that are low inflammation. And low inflammation means no dairy or sugar or glutens. And the reason why is those things cause your body to be inflamed, which help, and when your body's inflamed, it's harder for it to recover or to heal. And there's just constant things that we're just surrounded that add, that our body needs to heal, whether it's stress or the environment or, the different bacteria is always, trying to attack our body. So it's always good to try to stay as healthy as we possibly can to fight these things off. And so I just come on and share with you guys every week some of the recipes that we love. So sometimes people are like, oh, well, that seems like really hard to do a low inflammation diet where you don't eat gluten, dairy, or sugar. So I just kind of share with you guys some of the things that we do and incorporate that work and that are good, so that it's not so difficult or taunting, because I know that can be. I know every time, we're like, okay, well, like when we first started this, it seems a little overwhelming and taunting, but then when you try it, you're like, oh, well, that's not too bad. You just switch it up a little bit. Okay, let's throw our onion in there. All right, and so now we're gonna have a bell pepper. Now remember, when it comes to our vegetables and stuff, you want to try to do as clean as you possibly can and afford. So when it comes to, they say like the dirty dozen, so things that are not in the ground that would get sprayed, you would want to do organic. So tomatoes would be one of them. Onion, you don't need to do, and it has a skin. So if it has a skin you can peel, you don't need to do it. So like a banana, you don't need to do, or a cantaloupe, those things you don't need to do organic. You would want to try to stay with like your tomatoes, your apples and stuff like that you eat the skin. So our lemon and our lime, nope, you don't need to do that. Now if you want to, you can, but you don't have to. Okay, we'll throw our bell pepper in there. Let's cut a little bit more of our bell pepper to add to that. All right, so for our pico, it's gonna be tomato, onion, bell pepper, cilantro, can't talk, lime, and salt. Super easy. I always tell people when I made this dish, or years ago, I used to homeschool our kids, and so we were in this co-op, and I would bring the moms teaching lunch every 2 weeks. And so I brought tacos one week, and I was like, oh, I'll make them pico. And I hadn't really ever made pico. You know, bought it pre-made before, but never really made it. And so I was looking up, like I knew what was in there, but I was like, I mean, is it lemon? Is it lime? And what several of the recipes said to put sugar in there. And so this is why I think it's good, why we share our recipes with you guys, is a lot of recipes tell you to put something in there that's really not needed. You don't need your pico to be sweet. Now, I think they might say it because a lot of times they say sugar helps cut the acidity of the tomato, but it's not needed. I mean, you don't need sugar in everything you eat. That's not good either by any means. So I realized at that point, oh my goodness, like they put sugar in everything. So definitely omit that. You don't need sugar. It's really super simple. What 6 ingredients: tomato, onion, bell pepper, cilantro, salt, and what is this? Lime. All right, so we're just gonna cut our cilantro up nice and fine. Toss that in there, so where it like sticks to your hands. Okay, and then we just get a lime juice. Squeeze that all in there. Whole lime. Oh, sorry, you guys can't see the bowl. And some salt. And I don't have my spoon with me, so I'm just gonna use this tablespoon. Mix it all up. That way everything kind of gets in that lime that falls to the bottom. And it's best to let it sit for just a few minutes before you serve this, so the flavors can just really blend together so well. Oh my goodness, look at that. Pico is also just so beautiful with its color. I just think it's so pretty. Look, oh my goodness, doesn't that look good? It smells good. I like pico. Okay, let's check on our nachos. They should just about throw this stuff out. Be done. Rinse my hands. Okay, let's scoop that up. Can't get it off my hand the way I'm holding it. There we go. Okay, our nachos are done. They look so good. Now, I will take a little bit of a lime, and this is, kind of gives it a little, like a lemon nacho, and you just squeeze it all over. Take a lime and just squeeze it. Gives it an extra little flavor. This is really good, especially with fajita meat or some chicken, shredded chicken. So good. Okay, there. Oh my gosh, that looks so good. And then we can just sprinkle either our pico or guacamole that we made on top. And I'll tell you, the last thing I do, and nobody else in my family likes them, but I do. I love some jalapeno slices on my nachos. That's my favorite thing ever. So I will have a jalapeno slices on mine. So you guys have a great Tuesday, and I'll see you guys live. Or next week is in person. We'll go live, but it'll be at 12 o'clock. So either stop by and call and check that out, as well as that's on Tuesday. Thursday is the open house. So you guys have a great week, and I will see y'all next week. Bye.